Hello, welcome to the Lone Show. I'm your host, Sean Lone. In this episode, don't have a guest because reasons. As for our guest, she's from a phone number I cannot mention for legal reasons. She's currently in Dehradun, India. She's a YouTube and podcast host. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Barbara Briggs.
Hello. So nice
Hello
to
there.
meet all of you. Hello there.
Yes, very good. So, how's life?
Life is great.
Very nice. Have you been up to much recently?
Yes, I'm preparing to go on a journey to a place in India, the very center point of India, for a retreat for a month.
Nice, nice. So, what is it you mainly do for a living?
I have my podcast and my YouTube. I can't say I'm earning from them, but I like sharing knowledge about spiritual. And I'm working on my third book at the moment. I'm trying to finish my third book. I've had two books published.
All right then. And what is the name of this book you're planning on publishing?
The name of the new book is The Secret of Creative Abundance, Alignment with Our Spiritual Nature.
Interesting. What was life for you growing up?
Well, I grew up in Manhattan in New York City. It was quite traumatic in many ways because at that time New York had many social divisions. America still has many social divisions, but there were many social divisions between different communities, different races, and I found it quite difficult living in America in my youth because my mother is European, my father's African American.
I could see that. Where would you see yourself 20 years from now?
Um, 20 years from now, I see myself in India, and I'd be living in a very beautiful place which had perfect vastu, perfect orientation with with the cosmos, a building that was built according to natural law. And I would be living perhaps in a mountainous area because I like living in the Himalayas very much. There's a great silence there, and there's a great feeling of spirituality in the Himalayas.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. If you were given 500 acres of land, what would you use that land for?
500 acres.
Yeah.
Well, I would build a house. I would build a house, first of all, a house that had a perfect vastu and which was oriented toward the east. And I would plant trees near the house if there weren't any trees there. And I would have a meditation center there. I would build a center where I could teach people to meditate. And I would live there and I would also teach meditation there. And I might have organic garden so that I could grow organic vegetables and fruit trees. I would have fruit trees which were grown organically. And yeah, that's the beginning of what I would build there. 500 acres is a lot of land.
Yes, it sure is. If someone wrote a book about you, what do you think its title would be?
Adventures of a Free Spirit.
Nice. What is the one thing you can't live without?
I can't live without meditating because meditation is such an essential part of my life. And my meditation really gives me a deep sense of inner peace and happiness. And it's something which is essential to develop human consciousness so that we begin to live our full potential in daily life. Transcendental meditation actually expands the conscious capacity of the mind so that even though psychologists have said that most people only use 5 to 10% of their full mental potential, When you learn to meditate and when you practice transcendental meditation, the conscious capacity of the mind expands so that we don't only use the surface level of the mind. We begin to use the deeper, quieter, subtler, and more powerful levels of the mind. And because of that, one becomes more creative, one becomes more there's more clarity of thought, there's broader comprehension, and one also evolves so that consciousness begins to expand and we begin to experience deeper levels of awareness, and we become more aware of the subtler levels of nature, and the subtler, and we begin to be able to appreciate people on a more subtle level and to give more in every relationship. So meditation is an essential part of my life, which I can't even imagine living without it.
Fair enough. What happens in real life but rarely gets portrayed in movies?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, I've hearing a echo back on your end. That's why I was struggling to hear myself. So, what happens in real life but rarely gets portrayed in movies?
Well, first of all, I very rarely go to movies, but it's probably that movies don't really, they like to portray excitement, thrillers, and things that that excite the senses, but they rarely portray the deeper, more spiritual levels of life, which people may experience when they meet someone that has a deep resonance with them. There may be a very silent awareness or silent acceptance, a silent level of resonance between two people. But movies usually try to just focus on the grosser levels of life and the levels of life which tend to have a big impact on the screen. But there are many more subtler, deeper levels of life, which I don't think are portrayed because they don't have the same impact on the screen, and people may not be able to relate to those subtler, quieter, more silent levels of resonance which happen between two people, or which happen between someone and their experience of nature or experience of beauty, or their experience of a revelation about life. So I feel that those are the more silent levels of life which rarely get portrayed in most um, kind of movies which are trying to make as much money as possible in the box offices.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of music do you often listen to?
I like to listen to Indian classical music. It's called Gandharva Veda. Certain ragas are played at certain times of the day, so that there are morning ragas, which should be played in the morning, evening ragas in the evening. There are rain ragas, which help the rain to come if there's a drought. And there are ragas which increase courage. There are ragas that increase inspiration. There are all different types of ragas in the Indian classical music tradition. And I like to listen to sitar music or flute music or classical vocal music. And I find this type of music very nourishing to a very deep level of feeling. It's very nourishing, and it's very elevating to the senses. And it's actually a very high art form, because I studied Indian music. I studied sitar, and it's extremely difficult to learn because of the microtones, the very fine tones between each note. And this is what Indian classical music really focuses on, the microtones. And it's something that takes a great deal of skill and a great deal of practice to learn how to express Indian music or to play an Indian musical instrument.
Yes, absolutely. Would you ever try space tourism?
Excuse me?
Again, feedback, it's very annoying. I'm so sorry. Would you ever try space tourism?
Space tourism.
Yeah.
No, I'm not really interested in going to space in a rocket ship or something like that. I'm more interested in discovering the inner space within my own awareness. One's awareness can expand to the furthest galaxies of the universe, and I'd like to explore space from the level of my inner being. I'd like to I'd like to explore all the different facets of the universe through my own awareness as a result of the expansion of my awareness to the furthest galaxies of the universe. This is part of the evolution to higher states of consciousness. And in the highest state of human evolution, one becomes one's own consciousness becomes identified with the farthest reaches of the universe. And one can experience the farthest reaches of the universe from within one's own consciousness. So I would like to reach that state within my own awareness rather than taking a physical journey into outer space.
Okay. I can see that. Very good. When things break, do you prefer to fix them or replace them?
I try to fix them if it's at all possible because I don't like to waste. I don't like to waste things. I don't like to waste money, and I don't like to waste something. If I really like it, I will try to fix it with some glue or something. And if I can't fix it, then I should try to replace it.
Fair enough. I certainly agree to that. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is: "The purpose of life is the expansion of happiness." And the other quote is: "The only thing worth taking seriously is the joy of life." This is a quote from my guru, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. The only thing worth taking seriously is the joy of life. I love that quote.
Nice. What should they teach in high school, but they don't?
They should teach people to meditate in high school, but they don't. They should let them learn transcendental meditation. They'll have less behavioral problems. Their ability to learn will be enhanced. They'll also have enhanced self-actualization and the mind-body coordination and the synchrony and coherence between different parts of the brain will spontaneously increase if they are taught transcendental meditation in high school.
Ah, all right then. Do you think numbers have feelings?
I think numbers are symbolic of different aspects of the universe. But as far as numbers having feelings, I think plants have feelings. I think the earth has feelings. I think trees and mountains have feeling. Everything is composed of energy. Whether numbers themselves have feeling, I I I would say that numbers are symbolic. They're symbols of different levels of as different levels of functioning in the universe, but I don't know if they have feelings.
Hmm,
I can't say whether numbers have feelings. I would say everything has energy, and perhaps they do have feelings. Let's say they do have feelings. Let's say that everything has feelings.
all right then. Fair enough. Would you rather not be able to open closed doors or not be able to close open doors?
Not be able to open closed doors. I'd like to always
Ah,
be able to open doors.
all right. Very good. Have you heard of a drink called banana friche?
No, I haven't.
I get that a lot. If you could travel back in time, what decade would you want to live in?
I would want to live in the time when probably in the Renaissance, when everything was developing and everything was the great artists Leonardo da Vinci and those great painters were alive in the Renaissance, when everything was being created and developed, and there was a great flourishing of art. So perhaps the Renaissance, but I never really think about going back in time. I'm happy with where I am at the present moment. I don't really desire to go back to any lesser time, because every lesser time is a time of lesser evolution. And as we evolve, we want to keep going forward. We don't want to go backwards.
You know what? You're right. We should keep moving forward. Would you rather speak all languages or talk to animals?
I like to talk to animals. I love animals, actually. There is an actual ability of when consciousness is fully enlivened, there is an ability to speak to animals and to even understand the language of animals. So that is something that human beings can definitely develop with the development of consciousness. As we know, there are people who can talk to animals. They've developed that level of their awareness. And I would love to be able to understand the language of all animals and be able to communicate with all animals. I love animals very much.
Nice, nice. If you could have a never-ending candle that smelled like anything you wanted, what fragrance would you want it to be?
It would be rose. I love the fragrance of rose.
All right then. If you had a song for every time you entered the room, what song would that be?
Ave Maria by Bach.
Okay. Have you ever thought of living in a world filled with gardens and only gardens?
That would be fine with me. I love gardens, as long as there were really beautiful flowers in the garden. And if the world was filled with gardens and no pollution, no cars, no trucks, no loud noises, but just flowers and silence and beauty, that would be quite
Yeah,
attractive.
yes, it sure will be. What is the best way to start the morning?
The best way to start the morning is to wake up early before sunrise, if possible, and go for a morning walk in the morning sun. It really gives you a kind of pickup for the whole day. Just having the rays of the morning sun shining on your face as you walk through a park or through a meadow or in the mountains. The early morning walks are really it's a wonderful way to start the day. And I do start my day about 6:30 in the morning. I go for a morning walk for about 30 minutes every morning, almost every morning, let's say. And it's a wonderful thing to do in the morning, just to be out there as the sun is rising and just to enjoy the early morning rays.
Yes, nice. Would you rather be able to breathe underwater or have the agility of a cat?
To breathe underwater. As
Nice.
for the agility of a cat, I'm not so interested in that.
Okay, that's cool. If you could host your own talk show, who would you have on as your first guest?
Um, I can't think of anyone I would have on as my first guest, actually. Um, oh, I would have liked to have had my guru on, but my guru is no longer in the body. So to have as my first guest, I would rather have.
Oh, alright then. What hobby would you get into if time and or money wasn't an issue?
I would like to learn classical vocal music. I don't have time because I have so much to do, but I was learning how to sing in the classical Indian tradition, and I did enjoy it very much. I would have liked to go back to my singing, but I actually don't have time to do it because I have too much to do with my YouTube, my podcast, and writing my book. But I did love that.
Alright then. What food have you never eaten, but you would really like to try it someday?
Um, and I mean, I having a ice cream sundae with lots of whipped cream on it. I haven't had one of those for I don't know how long. And I do love ice cream and I do love whipped cream. So I'd like to have a strawberry shortcake ice cream with lots of whipped cream and with strawberries on the top.
Very good, very good. Do you like things that are so bad it's good?
So bad.
That
What?
is good?
What did you say?
Sorry. Do you like things that are so bad it's ironically good?
No,
Yeah, fair enough.
I can't identify with that.
I can agree to that. If you could turn any activity into an Olympic sport, what would you have a good chance at winning a medal for?
Laughing, having the most contagious laugh,
Ah, nice.
laugh, laughter.
Okay then, that could work. Do you like spicy food?
No, I
Really?
don't.
Well,
I
India's
don't
known for
like
its spicy
spicy.
food.
Huh?
Okay.
I don't like
Well,
spicy food.
fair enough. I mean, I like Indian food at times. They're known for its spiciness.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't eat
Uh,
chili. That's one thing.
Okay. Which flavor of ice cream do you wish existed?
Blueberry shortcake, blueberry cheesecake.
Ah, all right then. What superpower do you wish you could have?
Repetitive. What did you say?
Interesting. Which superpower do you wish you could have?
Which superpower? Which what?
Superpower.
Oh, superpower do I wish I could have?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had the ability to travel travel at the speed of light and transport myself from one place to another without using a plane. I wish I could just have a thought and be in a place where I want to be in another place immediately, just as a result of a thought, and I wouldn't have to use any physical vehicle or physical transportation. I could transport myself to anywhere in the universe at a moment's notice.
All right then. I can see that. What has been the highlight of your life so far?
Well, when I was in Ladakh, and one of the highest regions of the world in Nubra Valley in Ladakh, which had recently been open to foreigners, I was meditating in the height of the Himalayas. And I had one of my most incredible meditations that I've ever had in my life, when my whole awareness expanded. It expanded out into infinity, and I felt like I was one with the whole universe. That was one of my most unforgettable experiences that I've ever had in my life. And it was a very, very profound meditation. And it was really very powerful.
Wow, fantastic. And that is all we have for this episode. It was great having you on, Barbara, talking about work as a YouTube and podcast host, meditation, one with the universe, and everything else. It's been great.
Thank you. I enjoyed it very much too. And let me know when it's broadcast, will you?
Yes, absolutely. With that being
Okay.
said, until next time, stay tuned for more.